Morning everyone, Mr. Mitchell here. It's 8 o'clock, it's Friday morning, it's still a bit dark outside. I hope you're grateful. This morning we are going to be looking at percentages of amounts for our first session for this year's Baycroft Learn. We've only just been learning this week, so I wanted to give the opportunity for you to have this as revision material. In addition, I'm going to kind of go back to the very start of it because anyone who might be able to support you at home might not understand the way that we teach this. So I'm going to go through it all kind of really step by step, even though you kind of know this already from working on this week. So, finding percentages of amounts. These are absolutely questions that will come up in your GCSE, and there are a number of steps that we have been working on in order to solve this. So, if we have got a question like, let's start off quite simple. So let's say we want to find 30% of 400. The first thing that I've taught you to do is find 1%. In order to find 1% of a number, we divide it by 100. Dividing is our least favourite operation, but when we're dividing by multiples of 10, so 10, 100, 1000, etc., there's a really nifty little trick that we can do. And what that is, we take the 400 and we look for the decimal point. If the decimal point, if we can't see the decimal point, it means it's at the end. It's still there, we just don't need it, so we don't bother putting it on. When we divide by 100, we simply move it 2 places to the left. So boing, boing. So it becomes 4. Okay, our answer there is 4. Technically, maths-wise, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is moving place value, but we don't need to worry too much about that. Let's do another couple of examples. Let's find 1% of 380. Where is the decimal point? Excuse me, it's at the end. What do? We divide by 100, so we move 2 places to the left. So boing, boing. So this time it becomes 3.8. One more example. If we have got 276.7 and we want to find 1%, we divide by 100. Now this time we can see the decimal point, but we do exactly the same thing. We move it 2 places to the left. Boing, boing. So it becomes 2.767. Okay? That's how we find 1% of a number. And we need that in order to find 30%. Remember, once we've found 1%, we then multiply by the percentage that we need to find. So we want to find 30%. We know at the moment that 1% is 4. So our sum becomes 30 times 4. Now this is the bit that the parents and carers who haven't been at school as recently as you lot probably won't know, because we've got a very different method for doing multiplication to what we used to have, certainly when I was at school. We are using the lattice method. So the first and probably trickiest part of this is laying it out correctly. So we put 30 along the top, and we're going to put 4 down the side, and then we create our box like this. Then we put in our lattice. Remember, lattice basically is like a zigzag. Think of the lattice on a pie. So we put in our cross lines like that. That's probably the trickiest part of this, and that's actually takes a little bit of working out and training to get into the habit of that. So it's really helpful if you've got square paper at home. Then we do our multiplying. So 0 lots of 4 isn't 4. We're looking for no lots of 4. So it's nothing, okay? So 0, 0, and then 3 times 4, which is 12. Then we do column addition. This is essentially columns, but just slightly wonky. Now, it sometimes can help to highlight where the columns are. So there's one. Oh, hang on. Oh, we've got a calibrated board. That's a rarity. There's another one. And there's an, oh dear. I did tell you it was early. And there's another one. So we've got 3 distinct columns that we add up, and we just go through doing column addition. So, nothing, add nothing is nothing. 2, add nothing is 2. And then 1, add nothing is 1. So, 120. 30% of 400 equals 120. You know this, okay? So I don't think going to go through another example. What I am going to talk about is what a typical GCSE question might look like. Now, we don't teach you just to pass a GCSE, but we do need to focus on that, particularly given where you are at the moment in terms of your learning and the fact that your GCSEs are coming up fairly soon. Now, a typical GCSE question, well, you'll get two types. In fact, you'll probably get three types when it comes to percentages. One of them will be find 65% of 300, okay? Well, that's what we've just gone through. Another type of question will be to increase or decrease by a percentage. Think about the language there. We're talking about increasing or decreasing. In other words, adding or taking away. If I wanted to increase 400 by 30%, well, I've just found out that 30% is 120. If I'm increasing, then I'm going to say 400 and then increasing by 30%, so add 120 using my columns. If it's decreasing, we're going to take away, okay? One final thing that I want to mention is, in terms of this particular part, is showing your working out. We are still quite bad at making sure that we show all of our working out. Not all of us, some of us are absolutely nailing it, but there were some examples just this week where some people got some questions wrong, final answer, but they showed all of this. They showed all of this. And therefore, if it's a 3-mark question, you're probably going to get 2 of those marks because you might have just added something up wrong. And that's okay, that's just a mistake. What you're showing is, I know how to work out percentages. I've just had a bit of a moment where I've added something up wrong. You'll still get marks for that, okay? That's really, really important. And the other thing is, if in a GCSE you have got a question, there are 2 ways of knowing how much you've got to show in terms of working out. Firstly, the amount of space that they leave underneath. If there's a big block of space, they want you to use it. And secondly, how many marks there are for the question. So if you've got 3 marks for a question, they want to see your working out process. So please make sure you are doing that, okay? And I think that's it, Mr. Mitchell, for this morning. And we'll be back next week. Thank you, everyone.